Now, tonight, we're going to talk about Fresh and Fit. Known about these men for years. One of the top, if not the top, podcasts, especially given the death of the late, great Kevin Samuels. But they're involved in yet another, they're mired in controversy. Mr. Weeks of Fresh and Fit has gotten himself into a bit of a pickle, or I should say he's gotten his pickle in the jar. And the allegation is that she is pregnant. She's an Instagram model. She is also Miss Asia 2023. Lie to you not, the woman is gorgeous. She alleges that he impregnated her and has abandoned her. And what those who are against the Manosphere are making the allegation that the actions instead are hypocritical, and that the Fresh and Fit show boasts masculinity, how men should be good fathers, and how women have made poor choices in men, and that's why they are baby mamas. So the hypocrisy is alleging that Mr. Weeks is a hypocrite. So, that being said, those are the allegations. We're going to jump right into the show. And I don't have video clips. And again, even they have legal counsel, apparently Fresh and Fit, did a show a few days ago where they referred to this young lady as a 304. And their legal counsel has advised them to not discuss the topic in detail, specifically what he said and she said. So I want you to take note of the desire to want to be Captain Save-A-Ho and rescue. We don't know all of the facts. We know what she alleges Mr. Weeks said and what he alleges she said. But if you are looking for a traditional woman to be a wife, I'll ask you that question at the end. Is she that woman? That being said, let me see if my friends are here on Facebook. They're slowly coming in. Looks like we got about a 2-minute delay going. No bueno there. But let's jump into the show, shall we? Here we're going to go. This is Fresh and Fit. Let's pause. Let's restart. So the gentleman on your right, the dark-skinned gentleman, is Mr. I want to make sure I get his name right, Mr. Walter Weeks. And he is the Fresh of the duo. Fit is on your left, Myron Gaines. So these are the pseudonyms that these gentlemen use for the show. So I'm going to go quickly through before we get into it. But you know what? Let's take to it. Let's take hold. This is going to go quickly, so I need you to follow along. I've got people texting me at the same time while we're doing the show, but without further ado, let's get it popping. Here we go. Right. So here she is, Daisy and Mr. Weeks. Great, very grainy picture. Not my best, but we're going to get a better one. Here we go. As I said, shorty's banging. Miss Asia 2023. Here's another picture of her. Now, I ask you, would a traditional woman, once she's got the tattoos on her back, would she be doing butt pics on the internet? I need people to understand. All right, let's get through the pictures because I got a lot to talk about. But at the end of the day, we're gonna answer, and this is gonna be part of our whole goal, is to answer some questions. Why is this important? Why is this topic important? And what are you going to get out of it? What can you expect? And what are some lessons for you to learn, right? We're not here just to tear down women and talk about modern women are bad and how traditional women are great. No, we need you to understand, because there's a lot of people in this podcast world, in this manosphere, in this red pill community that are out to educate, but they're just regurgitating Kevin Samuels' points. They're not talking about anything. They're regurgitating. They have no dating experience, no kids, no baby mama drama. All they could tell you is, don't do it, and you're a simp if you don't do this, and simp if you don't do that, and blah, blah, blah. The difference between those shows and this show, oh, brothers, I've got lived experience. I've got lived experience. You know, and that lived experience allows me to be somewhat of an expert on some of these things, or I shouldn't say expert, to offer you a different perspective on why these things are a bad idea from the mistakes I've personally made. Not theoretical, but not only myself, but even a few gentlemen today. Can I send you my story so that you can warn other young men to not make the mistakes I've made? Absolutely. Send it to me. You want to come on the show? A little dark screen so nobody sees your face? We want to hear your stories. Why? Not to say women ain't sugar honey iced tea, but more so to say this is why, and here's a person that you can connect the story to understand why this is a bad idea. Let's get back to Miss Chen, who apparently is a resident of China, but clearly with the letters written in the gym that she's at and the guy who's sitting there standing with his hand on his hips, she's in the U.S. somewhere, right? But let's continue. She posted, "When I first saw you, I knew you were the love of my life." And, okay. Now let's talk about this, right? She met him November 2023. She says, according to some of these articles, that they became more intimate around New Year's. Here we are in April. She said that she was in China for a couple months. Then she flew back to visit his family because according to her, he said he wanted to introduce her to his mother. She, according to this article, said that the doctor told her she was about 30 days pregnant. This was end of March, which would suggest February. So basically, once she got back from China and they hooked up, the allegation is the brother went raw dog. Gotta take that L. Gotta take that L. Gotta take that L, because brother, you screwed up when you raw dogged. So that has to be said, right? Whether he was trying to wife or not. But here we go. Next pick. There she is again on the left. Body's lethal. Clearly some implants going on there. That ain't natural. But she's a 9. Well, Gordon, why wouldn't you say 10? She ain't no virgin. On this show, we're going to place value on virginity. You cannot be a 10 and not be a virgin. You could be a strong 9, 9.5, but you could never be a 10 unless you attach the word virgin. Now, if she was a virgin, I give her 10. But in about 9 months, she gonna drop from a 9 to a strong 7, which, again, Brother Samuels, 1 through 10, fresh face out of the shower, can't use 7. She ain't no 6, so because she's so bad, she would go to an 8 as a baby mama. I continue. There she is again with the Miss Asia dress and the whole banner on it showing that she's the title. The reigning Miss Asia 2023. Right? I mean, again, look at the body. Beautiful face. Girls. No. So there he is again. Another picture with her. There's nothing to say here. There she is again in a better picture. I mean, the woman is beautiful. She's gorgeous. Right? But as I've said before, people conflate the issues. They think, well, this is what you guys describe as wanting, that you want these women who are gorgeous and beautiful and this, that, and the other. Just because you're having sex with her doesn't mean that she's high value, as some like to use, or wife material. Not every fish I catch in a lake or ocean, I'm bringing it home to eat. Some are just sport. I caught a 12-pound fish. We went out in a lake in Ohio. Beautiful fish. I took a picture with it. That one I did bring home and I ate it. But the smaller ones, there were some beautiful ones that you just throw them back in. That was great sport. I reached my limit of fish that I could catch for the day. I had to throw it back. That's all we're saying here. It doesn't mean, for some men, they would say, I mean, she is gorgeous. But where's her mind at? And that's what we're going to find out. So here's her text message that she posted. She says, you always told me you wanted me to be your baby mother. Obviously, there's a little language thing, so spare the young lady. She's from China. I loved you, and I did everything to be a good girlfriend. You hadn't been together 6 months. And 2 of the months you were in China. And you met the 23rd. We'll get to that. I'm sorry, I'm a little emotional right now. And he says, I'll call you shortly. And how does she respond? Modern woman, take your time. I got all night. I'll wait. That ain't traditional. And he says, I can't have kids. It looks like he tried to call, or missed call. I can't have kids. She comes right with trying to emasculate him. Take responsibility for your actions as a man. Right out the gate. Start with the belittling. So he must have asked in this one, so how long have you been, pregnant? And she says 3 to 4 weeks. And he's like, oh, okay. It's our baby, exclamation point. And you want to kill our baby. You're not being a good human. He responds, it's not about that right now. It's not good. And a lot is happening, especially now. Business may be over. So there may be something going on with the Fresh and Fit show. Don't know. I doubt it, but he said, I don't want kids right now. And we spoke about it and you agreed. Whether that is an accurate statement, we don't know. But this is what he said. Okay. He doesn't want kids. She responds 2 minutes later. I never agreed. I agreed based on your actions, and you are not educated if you keep ejaculating, she used the C word, inside on me, I will get pregnant. I don't get pregnant without your behavior. Right? Jesus said, women don't be known. What did Jesus say about how she gonna know if her pee is good if she ain't having sex? Right? I'm gonna unhide your comment. Wayne said he better hope the baby isn't his. But check it out, right? So she says, I don't get pregnant without your behavior, right? I couldn't get pregnant without you. She's right. It takes 2 to tango. He up there eye rolled and nutted up in her. I get it. Guilty? I've done it. I'd be a hypocrite to say I haven't. She says, words mean nothing. You can see by the text messages within a minute, she's upset. And then she says, man up. Once again, this isn't a traditional woman. Man up. She's emasculating him. The only way you could be a man is to say that, yes, I want to marry you and give you money. As opposed to, we had a conversation about this. You're in the first trimester of the first month. Personally, I don't believe in abortion. It's killing a baby, in my opinion. The minute the child is conceived, once we have conception, for me personally, I don't believe in abortion. But he ain't me. So that's him. And he's entitled to his own opinion and belief system. He did not want a child. She does. She says, I'm not saying I want to be with you because I don't. Because you are nothing to me, but the baby is innocent. Wait, I thought you just said I loved you and I've been a good girlfriend. Now you're saying, I'm not saying I want to be with you because I don't? Let's throw some space to the wind. Because she's probably thinking, she's hurt. She's emotional. She's emotional right now, right? So we gotta make sure we give her caution. This is getting good, gentlemen. Getting good. So then he's like, what's this? And she's like, read it. Blood test. Pregnancy blood test. I know, but what does it mean? I don't understand the numbers. Agreed. I don't. Weeks of gestation. I don't really understand. This test was done April 2nd at 3:05. Something Plateman. I assume that's the doctor. But again, it doesn't tell you whether it says that the underline is that she is pregnant. And the doctor said 3 to 4 weeks, right? Oh, okay. All right. So the number up above, 0 to 5 and 0 to 8, I believe if you put it inside the 6 to 750 for 3 to 4 weeks, it tells you where you are along the path. So 8 is greater than 6, but 5 is less than 6, so they're right at the 3 to 4 mark of her pregnancy, right? Which would say that if it's March 2nd for this test, it means April 2nd, it means March 1st through 7th is when the child was conceived. She was in China for 2 months again. So that means the minute she came from China to the US, he raw dogged her. Or the condom broke. Right? Let's continue. Next text. So he says, you should have a kid with someone you're in love. You are with love in the same household. Won't that be what you expect? And he's like, man up. I'm telling you now so you know. He's saying, listen, I don't want a child. And I'm being straight with you. She says, I don't expect anything anymore since we are not together. I got pregnant with you when I was in your house and when I was in love. These chicks, so you're telling me you met this man in November, y'all hooked up a few times along the way, you went back home, so in 4 months you fell in love because he's a goddess. I mean, she's like, I just fell in love with the love of my life in 4 months, right? Talk about love bombing. But now, I hate him. She said, I don't expect anything. He said, I was in love. Now I'm not in love. And beware of a woman scorned. She's coming for you. Jesus said, man up, you knew you busted on her. So true. He said there's 2 types of women. Jerry said, marriage and recreational. Sadly, she was recreational use only and has leverage for 18 plus years. It happens to the best and worst of us. It does. Men must protect their seed at all costs. I did a show where I said, poor penis protection produces pain and pregnancy. Poor penis protection produces pain, 5 P's, and pregnancy, possible pregnancy. She said, so he says, what are you saying? We're not together and won't be. Why would that be good for a kid? It doesn't sound like this brother broke up with her. She's upset. So she's like, so why did you keep coming inside of me? You have to also understand that there may be a level of entrapment happening here. She's got him saying all of this stuff via text. She keeps repeating the come in me, come in me. Also, things happen, is what he says. And yes, feelings change, but bringing a kid into this world without both parents' love It's cruel. We both thought you wouldn't get pregnant. Now, with a body like that, Mrs. Arova size and all of that, sometimes, for example, women in marathons have a hard time conceiving because the exercise takes such a toll on the body that they're not capable of conceiving a child. So I'm curious as to where that conversation came from, because that's not something a guy just volunteers. You know, we thought you wouldn't get pregnant. Was she on the pill? Did he tell her? Did she tell him he was on the pill? There's so many questions that we may never know. Next one. He said it was a joke. And she's like, all I'm saying is you should take the responsibility. It's interesting how she just wants to project and hold him. You know, you take responsibility for your actions, as if she wasn't riding him and letting him nut up. She wanted it. I'm a victim in this relationship, and I'm carrying your babe. You act like you don't care and you don't want nothing. So now she's tying being with her with wanting a child. Nowhere. All you heard him say is, you are carrying something in your body. I do not want to have a child. I'm sure when that child comes outside of her body, he will step in to provide for his child and be a father. I would like to believe that. I can't say I'm sure. So, he's like, also, now I'm worried I'm going to have to test other girls. At least 4. The only reason why I think he chose to tell her that was to get her so angry that she would run to a clinic or take the abortion pill in disgust. I'm worried I'm going to have to test other girls, at least 4. He wasn't screwing 4 other women. How was he doing that and she was living there with you? He said that to get her so disgusted that she would run to the clinic and abort. And she responds, another girl? 4 girls? You're saying you have sex with 4 girls without protection? So he must have raw dogged. Again, a lot of inferring based on the text. I hope you have all the money for your children's support. You finally admit you are effing trash. And he's like, I don't have money. Good luck. LOL. You'll see. I think we're about to see the return. Where's my sound effect? Lord have mercy. We're about to see the return of the Hakimi rule. Everything in his mama's name is coming. So, let's continue on. So, she writes, again, she does this whole story now. My name is Daisy. This is a story between me and Walter Weeks. She even spelled his name wrong. It's Weekes. But this is the man you're in love with. The podcaster known as Fresh. Instagram and YouTube, Fresh Prince CEO. Here we go. I met him November 21st in Miami, and I fall in love with him. You met him and fell in love that day? Okay. We spent New Year's together. That's the time when he asked me to be his girl, to commit to him. And he posted a video of us on social media. He said to me, I love you. I don't want you to be with other men. A few days later, he asked me to meet his mom. Damn, that pee must have been good, boy. Everything went well. I showed him and his mom my respect. He defended me on his podcast from the rumors. That's the moment I truly fallen in love with him. So you were in love with him, but now you truly fall in love. I'm ignoring some of your. Sean said, I'm going to unhide your comments. 7 P's of pleasure. Maybe these men out here never known these women. Brandon, he know his actions before he did what he did. Doesn't happen to the best of us, but it happens to the people who are not responsible. True. The best typical get clipped, not rely on hope and prayer that he thinks he can get a woman pregnant. These are all true. So, she said, He defended me on the podcast, but this is where the game begins. She said, I left Miami January 8th, right? Traveled back to China for the New Year, Chinese New Year. The night before, we had a serious conversation. He said he sees me like someone to spend his whole life with. I mean, she's banging, she's beautiful, and, you know, I mean, I'm sure all kinds of things came out of his mouth seeing that pretty self in the bedroom. Right? You know, that's the problem when you get with a certain type of woman and she is gorgeous and beautiful. You can't let that alter your thinking. I'd be a hypocrite to say that I haven't made the same mistake. She said, I told him I was going to move to Miami for him. Heck yeah, wanted that U.S. citizenship. From then, we started a long-distance relationship for 2 months. You started after January 8th. You started. See, if you just read what these women say, they dime themselves out. So basically, y'all had no relationship until you came back. No, you left for China. So you were gone. From then, we started a long-distance relationship for 2 months until I traveled to Barbados. I met his entire family there. So 1 month, y'all got it in for New Year's. Then you were gone for 2 months. Then March, you go to Barbados, and he raw dogged you then. She said, March 12th, we traveled back to Miami, and everything was fine. I stayed in his apartment. We had a mutual understanding. He's not a... Key line. Gentlemen, if you're listening, key line. Her words. We had a mutual understanding. He is not a monogamous person. That me and him both need our own space. So I suggested to him to help me rent an apartment. He said, I want to have you have the things you want as you understand me. 10 days later, so Key, he told her, I don't want an exclusive relationship. I want an open relationship because I'm effing other women. He was honest. Key to that line. 10 days later, she says, a morning after we had lunch with his sister, he broke his promises. That's how he told me he loves me and wants to see me long term. He wants to plan a future with me. Instead of renting an apartment, it's better for us to buy a new house, which I think is completely lying and making excuses about it. He used me. How did he use you, ma'am? You asked him to pay for an apartment for you. So what did he actually use? Some used vagina? How did he use you? What did he do? He was a cheater. Excuse me. Just 2 paragraphs before, you said we had a mutual understanding. He is not a monogamous person. But now, he was a cheater, a huge gamer. I only found out this latter and started to take his haters' words. When people told me negative things about me in the beginning, I always stood by his side and supported him and believed him, as he did you, because everybody was talking about your past. I chose to believe in my partner instead of the audience. The truth is, he pretended to be a high-value man to date girls, then ditch them. No one's saying that he wasn't a high-value man. He dated the girls. And if they weren't up to his levels, he has boundaries and standards, just like you do. And if you fail to meet those standards, he cuts you loose, as he should. The reason why I'm exposing this is because as a woman, I want to stand out for other women. Oh gosh, here comes the feminism. I don't want any other girls to end up like me. Oh, here comes the post about how she rose from the ashes like a phoenix and how hard it is being a single mom and blah, blah, blah. But we continue. And she said, I take everything so real that he is serious with me. Therefore, I'm not on birth control. And we had sexual behavior without protection. Damning. Again, and I didn't say this before. She was on birth control. Remember previously in the other text, he said, but you can't get pregnant. She made the decision to come off birth control without sharing that information with him. She made the decision that since we are in a relationship, I don't need to use birth control? She said, I was ready to have a baby with him and build a family. He asked me many times, what if you get pregnant? He was trying to understand, what would you do if you got pregnant? You said, I would have the baby. And you probably also said, what you didn't disclose here, is that you told him, but it can't happen because I'm on birth control. He raw dogged you because he trusted you. When you told him you couldn't get pregnant because you were on the pill, you lied. You struck first blood. My answer toward him always, yes, I want to keep the baby. You can't keep a baby if you're on the pill, love. Oh, my kids are going to look like them. They're so cute. LO, I knew you were typing me this Blasian. So she took a picture with a couple other people who were Blasians and sent it to him with him posing with them. So, some key points that we've heard. That, they're under heavy attack. There's an article from, what is this? Dexter 2, right? This article? Where they said the podcast has come under fire. That they aim to help men with their financing and dating lives, help men navigate women, finances, and fitness. Often labeled as red pill, it says that Daisy Chen exposed alleged text messages. She took 2 pregnancy tests. She also accused him of wanting to kill our baby. And he said things happen, we change both, and it's true. If both people don't want the child, it is cruel. He never said, if you choose to have this child, that I'm not going to be a part of this child's life. Never said that. He just didn't want you. She wrote that she was pregnant, that the relationship was there for 2 months with her living in mainland China before visiting Week's family in Barbados. You heard that part already. Now, here's an interesting thing. Another text that I didn't share with you. She said I'm in a strange country all alone, talking about being in the U.S., but you knew how to fly to New York. And when he told you to leave the apartment, you went to New York. So who are you staying with? If you're poor and destitute. She says in this tweet from this article from Dexter 2, she says, if I don't expose this, here she goes. She's exposing the truth to these horrible men. If I don't expose this, he will continue doing that to other naive girls. So she's saying she herself is naive. But here's the key line. There will be more women get hurt. After a few days, he asked me to move out. He stopped coming home. Notice that she's calling his place that she had been in for a week home. Her home. She's showing you that she is not a traditional woman, gentlemen. That's what I'm trying to get to. Ladies, other traditional women, I know you're listening. He disappeared for 3 nights without explanation. Since when does a traditional man have to explain his whereabouts? I'm going out. Since when does the man of the house, with a woman who's only been in his apartment for a week, I gotta explain myself to you? I called him, he never answered. When I did nothing wrong. When I was so genuine. Like not telling him you weren't taking the pill anymore. That part. I left my work behind in China to pursuing this relationship. You were an Instagram model and Miss Asia 2023. She also said again in this article that they shared a mutual understanding that he was not a monogamous person and that the two of them needed their own space. I don't know how you can be any more clear than that. The man was truthful and forthright with the woman. He told her, I'm not going to be exclusive. He was open and honest with this woman. He did not lie to her. Why are we having this conversation? We're having this conversation because Mr. Weeks, Mr. Fresh, one of the biggest issues that I had with that show and many others, albeit the information they provided is factually, in my opinion, true. Heck, I bought Myron's book. Right? Factually true. My issue is they were not speaking from a perspective of experience. And it's easy to cite other red pillars and other Manosphere individuals. But when you've never been married, when you've never gone through divorce, never seen how evil the person you slept with your back to can be when you're not in a relationship. Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, or I'd add, a woman who believes that she was scorned. You don't even have to scorn her. But if she believes it, it is so. Now, if Mr. Weeks, with the woman who loves him but spells his last name incorrectly, if she should lose the child in pregnancy, he still will only have a taste of the tip of what it feels like. But if she goes through with this, there are legal ramifications. And it's probably wise that his counsel has told him that they cannot discuss this issue because there's legal ramifications. I'd like to believe that the Fresh and Fit program is his sole source of income. Depending on how the paperwork was drawn for the LLC or corporation, if he's dabbling in company funds for personal use, then he has exposed the entire podcast to income as father income for child support. Notice, she left Florida and went to New York. New York is very anti-father. Florida, the Republican governor, DeSantis, passed 3 sweeping measures. 1, getting rid of lifelong alimony. 2, allowing fathers' rights, even if they're unmarried, to have rights. And I forgot the 3rd. I believe it's regarding finances. She went to the state where she can get the most child support. What I'm trying to point to you, and for many people who make the comment that, and I read some of them, oh, she's beautiful. You red pillars talk about you want this kind of top-end, top-tier woman, blah, blah, blah. Look at her. She's gorgeous. Again, there's sport, and there's wife. This woman has shown she is not wife-oriented. She is not. She intends to destroy him. Okay? She said, I'm doing this because I want other women to know. You were never on his program. Because even if so, you would say, I don't believe in abortion. I'm going to have this child. You know, I'd appreciate it if you be in the child's life. And, you know, because, you know, I believe that you need a father to be active, as you said on your show. And I want that for our child to have a mother and active mother and father, because that is the best chance for our child. Instead, she's seeking to destroy his financial ability to pay and be a man and be responsible. You're taking away his livelihood. And then you're going to go online and argue about that. He isn't paying his child support. You broke him. Yeah, he's not paying. He ain't got it no more. You've destroyed his business and his livelihood. And now you're surprised. What's a meme that I saw even today? People take you there and then are surprised when they take you there that you go there. She is showing that she is not to be trusted. Let's go back to Mr. Walter. Complete L screw up. Everything that you've talked on your show about avoiding the pitfalls, now you are in it. And sadly, what's not fair to you, and again, I don't know the story, I'm speculating. Allegations. She even says in her own text, in her own thread that she's posted, she was on the pill. So it explains your comment now. Right? Fresh, it explains your comment of, but you couldn't get pregnant. That's because you still believed that she was on the pill. She lied to you. You can't trust them, man. She's a modern woman, and you had her up in the crib because, yo, Shorty's a dime. I mean, let's go back. Shorty is a dime. I mean, I gotta take that back, right? She's a 9. Look at all of that. Jesus, that girl's banging. She's the look at her body. I mean, that's a traditional woman. She's sport. And for those of you who are the critics, the detractors, the naysayers who are just looking for negativity to put on the Manosphere, you obviously haven't been listening. This is a woman that he was having sex with and entertaining. Right? Right? When I first saw you, I knew you were the love of my life, but 6 months later, I've heard that before myself. I called my sister and told her I've met the one. This is the one I'm going to be with for the rest of my life. And they send mercenaries after you. Look at her in the purple. I mean, she was sport, and now she's mad. She's gonna bleed him. I want to make sure other women know, as opposed to protect the bag, protect the business. Who knows? He might have come around. You know what? We got this kid. I didn't really want to settle down. But, you know, if you're willing to quit your Instagram, that ain't real traditional woman, and all those other worldly items that you're involved in, then let's have a conversation about that. But she's not a traditional woman. Traditional women don't pose pictures like that. She was sport. And under the throes of love, he made comments while he was toes curling, eyes rolling to the back of his head. I love you, man. I love you. Girl, you're the one. I don't want nobody else. Jerry said if she admitted in text that she knew he was not monogamous, then why ask where he is? Thank you. It is safe to deduct that she was on the pill during the first sexual encounter. Went to China and stopped. Yes, Jerry. Then returned fresh without informing him, and he oozed up in her thinking it was all good. She's on the pill. Gotcha. Gotcha, bitch. He was under the impression. But guess what? There's nothing that the court is going to do to help him. Sorry. It's your DNA, bro. He's still at fault for trusting her. Yes. Jerry, absolutely. That is the lesson. Trusting words over taking preventative measures Regardless, fellas, always protect yourself. Sean Anderson, classic modern woman entrapment. Yes. This is like a 50-year-old game she ran on him. And I've made the same mistake. Many men have made the same mistake. You lay down with a girl because she makes you feel good in the bedroom and she's got that pretty face. You know her background. You know her history. What do you do anyway? You ooze up in her. And then when you're like, no, and he told her, we're not in a monogamous relationship. Now she's calling him a cheater. Wait, what? We had this conversation. Now you got the simps. I'll take care of you and your baby. I want to be with you, as if you dumbasses haven't learned the lesson that is about to be told. Yes, now she needs you because she wants another provider. And still a great looking woman. Right? You're going to be taking care of Fresh's son and daughter and have him still coming by. And all the bitterness entrapped in her about, that's why I don't trust men and this, that, and the other. But can you trust her? Because let me tell you, if you get into a relationship with her and she tells you on the pill, double condom pull out. Don't you dare. And you take that condom into the bathroom, wash it out, and flush that joker. Do not leave that thing in the trash can wrapped up in a paper towel. Do not leave it unattended. That mug would be up in the bathroom, oozing into her, slapping it in herself. Welcome, baby daddy number 2, you. It is sad. Sean, you are right. Classic modern woman entrapment. That's why he didn't want to be with you, because he knows you're a modern woman. And because of your beauty, it was clouding his judgment of keeping you in the crib. I mean, she's a 9. You nutting up in her raw? Anyway, that's enough for today, man. Tune in next week. But this is this a fresh and fit fail? He failed by raw dogging her and trusting a woman. And all of that stuff on the show, calling her a 304, brother, that ain't gonna make your situation better. Cause when she up in that court with child support, all them clips gonna come out, and she gonna be getting maximum child support. And anything you do right now to try to change your salary and your income, the court will look at it and be like, nah, we ain't going with that. We're gonna go off of the income that the show is making and your percentage. And if you're not paying yourself on payroll, your lawyer's probably already told you, if you're dipping into that account with a business card, going on vacations and trips and buying clothes, and not separating personal from business, and the business becomes liable to child support. And it could be said that whatever you make in streaming income and all that, split it in 50, that's your income. And that's what she's going to be drawing child support on. And all that you make will come out in court in 9 months, as we all find out exactly how much Fresh and Fit is making. This is ugly. But not just to talk about this and remind you, granted, I have lived experience. But the thing to understand, how do you benefit, or what value will you get from this? Well, you have a podcaster. I got experience. And now Fresh from Fresh and Fit. In 9 months, his journey begins. In the world of the bitter baby mama and baby daddy trying to protect his income from an overzealous, greedy, financially oriented parasite trying to drain you for every last penny you got under the guise of the child needs this. You know she's coming after you, brother. All of this, and she even went on other podcasts. Abba and Preach, she went on a few different shows to tell everybody how she's the victim. Even people that are not cool with you. Now she's hurting the business that's going to be paying her child support. Make it make sense. Someone needs to grab her and say, hey, let's not mess the bank up. But it's not about the money. She wants to destroy you. Her vision is blurred and all she sees is red. Because she got with you for the money. Right? Jerry said, if I were Myron, I would so fire him and buy his portion of the business. You ain't never lied. So that she had access to his other streams not to affect their show and team. The problem with that, Jerry, is if you do it right now, even the courts will reverse and go back. If they haven't frozen assets already. He cannot. They're going to have to disclose financial records. I hope he's on payroll. If he's not, again, as I said, it opens up the whole business. And hopefully a fair judge, but you're talking New York. You making $100,000 a month, they're assuming that he's making 50, and his child support will be based off of the $50,000 per month, $600,000, and at least 25%. He'll have to put the baby up and he's lucky he's not at a show I did a week ago. Kentucky just passed a law that you could claim child support while pregnant. Other states are moving that direction as well. And she intends to give birth in the United States for her anchor baby. Can't make this up. If they have a clause to remove him based on action detrimental to business, he can be removed. Jerry, you are absolutely correct. How many businesses have been started with a partner and you just assumed that you and your business partner were on the same accord and there's no way he would get caught trusting a chick who said I'm on the pill and he raw dogged, as she said, multiple times. Wait till she goes after damages for lost income from having that baby. Ooh. Jerry, you are right. We're going to find out very soon if she goes full term and has that baby. We're going to find out if that clause does exist, and I pray for Myron. Y'all are friends. You need to fire him. I agree with you, Jerry. You need to fire him and protect the business. Invite him as a consultant on the show. You get paid $10,000 a month. I mean, I hope the Akimi rule is in place. When he made that comment, I don't have anything, I'm broke. I think that was a bellwether to let everyone know I ain't got nothing in my name. Everything in his mama name. That being said, thank you all again. I'm your host, Gordon Nathaniel. Another episode of the Toxic Reality Show. Please tell some friends next week, every Tuesday, 7 o'clock. It's not just about going in on what, these women are horrible and they're all cheating and they're all modern, but why? How do you benefit? How does this information serve you? And if you know someone who's inexperienced, say, listen, this guy knows what he's talking about. You need to listen to this before you make the mistake. Don't be me. I already own the Crash Dummy of Relationships title. There's no need for you to get into the car and drive 60 miles an hour to have the same result. I'm proving it. Sadly for this brother, he's going to be part of the experienced crowd. Thank you, Jerry. Keep up the good fight, and you stay well, brother. We're out. Till next week. Tell your friends. Like and subscribe. Thank you for your support.